Alright, today, this is one of my favorites. It's called Adios Oscar, a butterfly fable. So, we typically learn about butterflies, and I read a book about butterflies the other week. And all monarch butterflies travel to Mexico when they go south to spawn and be with other butterflies. And this is a book about Oscar that wants to go to Mexico with all the butterflies. So this author is Peter Elwell. He's the author and the illustrator. Now there is some Spanish words in there, and I don't really speak Spanish that well, so I try my best. So you'll enjoy it, but here is Adios Oscar. There was a house. In the window of this house, there was a flower in a pot. On a leaf of this flower, there was a little caterpillar. And if you asked this caterpillar his name, he would have said, "My name is Oscar." So that's where Oscar lives, up here. That's just what he said when a butterfly flew in from the sky. It landed on his flower and asked him his name. "Pleased to meet you, Oscar," said the butterfly. "My name's Bob. I just flew in from Detroit, and boy, are my wings tired. But seriously, do you know the way to Mexico?" "Nope, but I sure like those wings of yours," said Oscar. "Thanks," said Bob. "One day you'll have a pair of your own." "Really?" Oscar gasped. "Count on it," said Bob. Then fluttering off on the passing breeze, he shouted, "If you're ever down in Mexico, look me up." So he is going to Mexico. Oscar crawled as fast as he could to tell his caterpillar friends all about the wings he was going to grow and how he was going to fly far away, just like Bob the butterfly. "No one listens to butterflies," Squirmy sneered. "They just make stuff up." "Besides, anyone with big crazy wings has to be nuts," said Wiggly. "And anyone who believes them is nuttier," Nibbles laughed. So those are all his caterpillar friends. "Look at us," sang the three caterpillars. "We're Oscar the Amazing Flying Nut." "You're starting to bug me," Oscar growled. "That's because we're bugs," they laughed. "That's what we do." Then they saw a ladybug, and off they went to prove their point by bugging her about the spots on her back. "Don't listen to them. They're knuckleheads," whispered a little voice. It was Edna the bookworm, peeping shyly from behind Oscar's flower pot. "But they might be right," said Oscar. "And they might be wrong," said Edna. "Want to find out?" Looking first this way and then that, she silently motioned for Oscar to follow her. They crawled off the windowsill, then up a bookcase until they came to an old book made of shiny brown leather and decorated with gold. "Can't judge a book by its cover," Edna said, opening a small door at the bottom of the book. So she's going to go through the book. It was a door to the library. As far as Oscar could see, there were nothing but bugs, books, and bookworms reading them. "Wow!" Oscar yelled. "Shh!" the bookworms replied. "Don't worry, Edna. They just love to do that." Remember, you always have to be quiet in a library. Oscar and Edna found all kinds of books that said that caterpillars do grow wings and turn into butterflies, and that the butterflies who look like Bob do fly all the way to Mexico. None of these books said Bob was nuts. They said he was right. Oscar also studied maps. Mexico was thousands of miles away, which is quite far for someone whose whole world has been a flower pot. It was a little scary, but the more Oscar found out about all the different places he'd see and the different bugs he'd meet, the more he wanted to go there. Oscar also found out that they speak Spanish in Mexico, so he figured he'd like to do that too. He learned to say hello, hola. He learned to say goodbye, adios. He learned to introduce himself so everyone everyone would know who was saying hello and goodbye. Hola, mi nombre es Oscar. But will they know me when I'm a butterfly, Oscar asked. Sure, Edna replied. No matter what you are, you'll always be Oscar. Too soon the night came for Oscar to take the long caterpillar nap they read about. He'd sleep, and when he woke up, he'd have wings. Before you go, let's learn one more thing, said Edna, and they learned how to say goodnight. Buenas noches. So he's getting ready to turn into his chrysalis and then turn into the butterfly. Oscar went to sleep and dreamed of distant blue mountains and all of the new friends he'd meet as he rode the wind out of Cleveland and all the way to Mexico. He slept and he slept and he slept some more. So you guys live in Ohio and Cleveland's in Ohio. So they're going to go from Ohio all the way to Mexico. Then one day, Oscar woke up. As he yawned and wiggled out of his cocoon, he felt something else wiggle on his back. Wings! He had wings! Something wasn't right. He also had an appetite, a big one. And why was he craving socks? Hey, Oscar, Nibble shouted from inside the closet. Taste this designer's sweater. It's yummy. Look at us, yelled Wiggly. We're flying around a light bulb for no reason. Whee, cried Squirmy. So they have wings, but do they look like the other one? Like Bob's? Fighting the urge to head for the light bulb, Oscar flew to the mirror instead. Oh no, he cried. Someone made a mistake. I'm not a butterfly, I'm a moth. Now Oscar would never ride the wind. He would never see Mexico. For the rest of his life, he'd fly around a light bulb or sit in a drawer eating old socks. They say moths like to eat socks, and they do fly around light bulbs at night. Oscar tried to make the best of it. Even with nowhere to go, flying sure beat crawling, and socks actually tasted pretty good. But when Oscar said, more socks please in Spanish, mas medias por favor, it made him sad. It just reminded him of the blue mountains he would never see. So one way you can tell a moth, when a moth closes their wings, they're flat. And when a butterfly closes their wings, they stick up. So that's how you can tell a moth between a butterfly. See, their butterflies are, or their wings are flat. Let's see if I can find. Hang on, let's see if I can find Bob again. Oh, doesn't show him close. He might have forgotten all about Mexico, but one bright night, Oscar happened to land on his favorite flower in the window. He hadn't come back there since he became a moth. And looking around him, a tiny piece of paper caught his eye. There was writing on it. This is what it said. Dear Oscar, amazing things can happen when a moth thinks like a butterfly. Write me from Mexico. Love, Edna. So Edna knew he was a moth, but that shouldn't stop him from flying down there. Oscar felt the moon beckon to him like a big light bulb in the sky. Yes, he was a moth, and what a moth. Adios, amigos, said Oscar. I've got a postcard to write. And off he soared, up toward the moon and into the great night sky. Where are you going? Squirmy called after him. You won't get far, shouted Wiggly. What's amigos? Nibble said. Can we eat it? So there we go. The other moths figured that he'd be back as long as there was a porch light to fly around. After all, they said, he's a moth. That's what we do. But that's not what Oscar did. Even with the porch light on, he never came back. So he left his little flower pot. However, there are blue mountains in Mexico. High in these mountains, there is a green field that is alive with countless butterflies. He made it. In the middle of this field, there is a flower. Sitting on this flower, you will find a moth who's writing a postcard to a friend. If you ask this moth his name, he will likely say, Mi nombre es Oscar. There he is. And it says, Dear Edna, I felt like a butterfly. Love, Oscar. P.S. Bob says hi. It says, greetings from Mexico. So he made it. So even though he wasn't a butterfly, he still made it. So whatever you put your mind to, you can succeed as long as you work hard and believe in yourself. So have a great day. Bye.